Heck yeah, so I got another package in the mail from Lucky, and this one's got something special in it. But before I get into that, I want to share with you something that I've been being reminded of in this book that I'm reading lately. So this book that I'm reading is called Becoming a King by Morgan Snyder. And honestly, I think it's a great book. I'm not fully through it yet. I think I'm only on chapter 8, but I would totally recommend it. In one of the chapters, the author recalls a time where he was listening to one of his heroes give like a speech at a retreat, and the speech goes something like this. It says, "Do it slower. Talk slower, eat slower, do it all slower." And that really resonated with me because I feel like a lot of times I allow my schedule and my headspace to kind of become cluttered with a bunch of other stuff to where it makes it harder for me to hear what the Lord is trying to say to me. Later on in that same chapter, Morgan writes, "Again, when we're busy, the Father is quiet. Often it is our inability to hear, not God's lack of speaking, that keeps us from hearing His voice. Simply put, we fail to become the kind of man who has the capacity to listen." Whoa. We need to become better listeners, or at least I need to become better at listening. I know that the Lord has a lot to say about a lot of the things that are going on in my life, and I want to be intentional about those things. So this was just a really good reminder for me just to kind of take a step back, slow down a bit, think about things, be intentional, even though it may be painful at the time to do so. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Let's go ahead and open this package. Packages are always so fun to open. That's sick. Ooh, they sent some new wristbands. These ones are sick. Normally they just have like a black or a green look, but these are swirl color. Pretty dope. There's one of my SIG decks, and also there's another. Finally, ooh, this is that special something that I was talking about. Let's open this up and check it out. It's probably a good idea to put this on. To be honest, whenever I'm home, I never really think about this type of stuff, and then I started filming, and I was like, I'm not wearing a shirt. I'm not gonna refilm all that other stuff where I wasn't wearing a shirt, so you'll just have to deal. So every year, Lucky comes out with a new version of their Prospect Complete scooter, and this year they made the price range under $200. So I wanted to actually do a little bit of a review of this scooter for those of you guys who may be looking to get your first pro scooter, or your second pro scooter, or whatever it is, without breaking the bank. This is looking so sick, and I'm loving this colorway. So good. Check this thing out. This 2021 Complete Prospect scooter is honestly so sick, especially for the price range. Let me tell you some of the features of this scooter. To start out, the bars are actually made of aluminum, which accounts for a really, really light setup. The bars come in at 23.5 wide by 24.5 tall, which I think is the perfect size for anybody that's looking to ride at a more park style of riding, or that's first getting into scooters. Moving down, this scooter comes with an IHC anodized Huracan fork. IHC is a lot smaller than the normal HIC compression that comes on a lot of completes that you see nowadays, and because it's smaller, it accounts for a lot less weight on your scooter. One of the big differences about this year's Prospect Complete is the size of the deck. The length comes in at 19.5 long, which is literally like perfect for anybody interested in doing like park style tricks, kicklesses, rewinds, overhead tricks, or flips. But this year, Lucky actually made the deck a little bit wider. I think last year they had 4.5, this year they have 4.8. And this is actually the same width as my signature deck, because honestly, I think it's like the perfect dimension for anybody that's looking for a little bit more foot space, but they don't want to increase the weight of their scooter like too much. The head tube angle is the standard 82.5, which honestly it's like perfect for whips, and makes like the gyration of tail whips and bar spins feel absolutely perfect. What's also cool about this deck is that the front end of it is actually plated this time around. Normally the deck has 2 openings right here, but this year they actually plated that for extra strength, and also it just looks sick. Last but not least, The final difference, and honestly I think a big plus on this scooter, is the size of the wheels. These come in at 120 millimeters in diameter, which accounts for a lot more speed and also doesn't really affect the weight of the scooter. Overall, on paper, this scooter is amazing, especially for the price range. But I want to put it together, head to the skate park, strap the GoPro on, and give you my honest thoughts about how this thing rides. Alright, let's get over there. Sweet, so I want to start things off here at Cerritos Skate Park simply because this park is usually pretty empty. It's not a park that I would normally ride like on a regular basis. However, I want to kind of be able to dedicate some time solely to getting the feel for this scooter. And I'm going to start by doing 5 tricks that I'm comfortable with and then kind of running back on how I think this scooter is handling everything that I'm doing. Alrighty, 5 tricks are down, and honestly this thing is feeling pretty solid. Since I want to be as honest about this review as possible, I want to start by saying that this particular size for a scooter is a little bit small for me. Normally I'm used to riding a deck that is 20.5 long by 4.8. This is the same width as that, however it's an inch shorter than what I'm used to. But to be honest, that's preference, and it's not something that I couldn't get used to. In addition to the size of the deck, the bars are also a little bit shorter than what I'm used to. I think these are 24.5 tall. However, I'm used to riding 26.5 tall. So 2 inches difference for sure makes it feel a little bit smaller. But regardless of that, so far everything that I've done on it feels amazing. The extra diameter on the 120 wheels is so good. Honestly, this is probably faster than what my setup is right now. Just dropping in right out of the box with this scooter, it feels so fast, and I really like that. Oh man. Okay, that was a triple heel. And to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to be able to catch it that easy into that small of a bank. This thing whips like a machine. One of the cool things about this setup is that the headset is fairly tight right when you take it out of the box. I didn't do anything to the compression. When I put the scooter together, I literally just put the bars on, tightened the clamp, and then went and started riding. And honestly, I love how snug and tight the headset feels. Rewinds on this scooter feel so good, just right. Because of the size of the deck, the width, and also the length of it, it makes it super easy for you to get like a lot of leverage when you're doing rewinds on this thing. Bar spins on this scooter also feel so good. I want to point out that I think a lot of people have a little bit of a concern with bars that have gussets on them like this, because you don't want to get your finger stuck in one of these holes. But I assure you, I can't actually fit my finger in there. And to be honest, you don't even notice them when you're doing bar spins. Unless you have your hands like completely dead center on your bars, you're really not going to be touching this gusset right here. And it's also not sharp at all. The edges of it are super smooth, and they're all coated over the raw material, so they're a bit softer than what they would be. All right, check this out. I totally did not plan this when I asked Lucky to send me this color. Green shoes, green grips, green shoes, teal, green, whatever you want to call it. It matches, that's the point. I think this is honestly so dope. The colorway on the scooter is absolutely amazing. Overhead tricks on this scooter feel literally perfect. Because it's so light and because the head tube angle is just right, doing something like a bri whip, buttercup, or whip front scoop is honestly so good on this scooter. Okay, 2 more things that I want to talk about on this setup.
The first one is how well does it slide or grind or whatever you want to call it. Right now I just did 2 ledge tricks for you. Before I even started filming anyway, I was kind of already messing around on this ledge just to kind of get a feel for how this deck responds to something like this. And from what I can see, the deck slides really good. I think it should be understood though, since the size of this deck is a little bit smaller than what you might consider a street scooter deck to be, it will be a bit more challenging to keep your balance on a ledge like that on a deck that's 19.5 long. If you're really interested in hitting big down rails, big hubbas, something like that, you might need a deck that's a bit longer than this Prospect. But honestly, this scooter is not made for rails per se. It's more focused on the park aspect of riding. So big ramps, big boxes, big quarters. So if that's your style of riding, this I think is the scooter for you. Okay, last thing I want to talk about, dude, this grip tape. I know it seems insignificant, but it's so good. Literally, I didn't do anything. This scooter came with the grip tape already placed onto the Prospect deck, and I have no complaints. It's super grippy, and it also has a cool minimalist Lucky decal on it. Overall, I think the scooter is brilliant. Alright, so overall, I think this scooter is totally worth the money. If you're looking to get into scooters for the first time, and you're looking for something that's within your budget, this is just under 200 bucks, and you'll be walking out the store with something that you know is going to be absolutely perfect for what you need. If you want to grab one for yourself, head to thevoltproscooters.com, use my code FLOW, F-L-O, saves you 10%. If they're out of stock there, then just head to the Lucky website. Both of those links are in the description. I've yet to get an actual bench for working out, so I'm just using my dad's workbench. If I'm honest with you, I always feel so weak on bench. Right now I'm just playing around with 95, kind of considering that as my warm-up. I'm gonna work my way up to 135 and hopefully be able to get 3 sets of 10 out of that. But normally I'll have to drop the rep range a little bit because I'm a little weakling. Oh my gosh, that was so hard. I couldn't actually get the 3 sets of 10 like I wanted to, but I did 2 sets of 10 and then 1 set of 9, so pretty close. Feeling pretty strong. I'm gonna go do some pull-up action. I'm really a big fan of calisthenics and stuff like that. I think it has to do with my experience growing up, like on trampolines and stuff like that, always doing flips. I have like pretty good body awareness, so doing pull-ups and also like leg raises, stuff like that, it's my favorite. Okay, so the goal is to get 3 sets of 12. My max rep range, I think, or the most pull-ups I've ever done, I think it was like 17. So 12 is kind of like getting up there, and doing 12 3 times is gonna be pretty challenging. Just finished 1 set, just got 2 more to go. I'm gonna try to keep the rest in between as short as possible, but if I rush it, I for sure won't be able to get this. So, gotta be smart. there you have it. I actually got 3 sets of 12. I'm pretty pleased with myself, and I think that's a good way to end today's video. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching all my videos every week. Having a good time just like pumping out content as consistent as I can for you guys. If you enjoy this content, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more riding clips, I have a ton of stuff on my Instagram. Just follow me at CodyFlom if you're interested in that type of stuff. Alrighty, till next time. Next Sunday I'll be back, 12 p.m. California time. See you then. Deuces.